Hey, I'm live. Here we are in the car again. So, welcome. I'm Lise Colucci. I'm a life coach that is here to help you with recovering and dealing with and learning about everything related to toxic relationships, relationships with narcissistic people, or anything like that. So, hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe. I'm trying to get on here every Tuesday with live streams as well as lots of videos throughout the week to help with understanding, healing, learning, and all of that related to narcissism. I wanted to talk today, this is going to be a short live stream, about healing from narcissism, narcissistic relationships, not narcissism. We don't heal from narcissism if we have it, right? Because nothing's wrong, right? Anyway, so we're going to talk about when you are trying to heal and you feel like nothing is working. It's hard to recover. It's hard to know what to do. It feels like everything's difficult. You can't trust anyone. There's no easy way. You know what I mean? When you are either still with a toxic person or you're away from them or you've got no contact, it doesn't really matter. Whatever it is, wherever you are in your healing, when it feels really negative, when it feels really dark, like you can't do it, what do you do? Okay, so one of the things that I've been thinking about lately, and I've been talking to different people about, is that we are, as human beings, we're impressionable. The influences around us, the types of people we surround ourselves by, the types of environment we are in, the types of movies we watch, things we listen to, influences. Well, we are influenced by everything. That is why gaslighting works, you guys. If we weren't influenced, gaslighting would be an obvious lie, and we'd step away from it. We wouldn't engage in it. We'd be like, okay, that person's not talking any sense, and we'd walk away. But we, as humans, as all people, right, we are swayed and pulled, and our moods are set by the things that influence us. So one of the things you can do for yourself is to be very careful about your influences. Be very careful about who you choose to speak to, what you choose to speak about. Now, if you're still in a toxic relationship, or if you have toxic family members that you have to deal with all the time, then it's really important to learn to gray rock so that you do not fall into the trap of engaging with the things that are bad influences for you. They're bad for your well-being, right? And even without judging and saying right, wrong, good, and bad, we can just say they're things that make you feel not so light and wonderful inside. They're things that make you feel, somebody said a word to me today, and I love it, laden with the heaviness of how toxic it really is. So if you can't get away from the influences, then that is one reason to learn to gray rock. So also remember that, that you are a source of your own influence. And this is where I titled this, Choose to Heal. Choose to heal from toxic relationships. Choose you. This is a hard one to hear. A lot of people don't want to hear this. People will say things like, it's never going to get better. I'm never going to be happy. It's not worth it. There's no happiness. I can only be happy with another person. I can only be happy if this happens, if that happens. But the fact is, well, I want to call it a fact. Something I have learned, something I have seen happen, I've witnessed, is if you choose to have a different way of thinking, to have a different belief system, to purge yourself of the influences that have come in that have set this toxic patterning of thinking in your own mind, if you choose to find ways to step out of that, and you choose to be open to it and be open to the change, your life will start to change. You may not be able to get rid of toxic people. You may not be able to get rid of, to make your situation 100% wonderful. But as you change on the inside, then you are more open to and receptive to the things that you want in your life coming towards you. I'm not talking about law of attraction here. I'm talking about simply choosing and becoming a better influence on yourself so that you are not repeating the toxic patterns and thoughts up here and then bringing them to life through engaging with yourself and your own toxic thinking. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Ooh. How do I get there? I found it. Okay. Okay. Hey, Chris. And thank you. And UNA. Hello, hello. And Barbara. I know, on the road again. On the road again. Okay. And when it turns toxic, you are not required to fix the situation. Correct. It's not your responsibility. Step away from that. Chris says, I can say from personal experience, being a recovered codependent, putting yourself first and making yourself a priority is very healing. It really is. It really is. And it's a really tricky one for a lot of people because they have all kinds of feelings about it because of the programming. And when I say the programming, I'm talking about this toxic influence that they've been under. We are so influenced by everything, it's hard to have a pure thought. You know, if you really think about it, it's hard to know what you even think about things because we're so influenced by everything around us. Advertising companies bank on that. Politics banks on that, right? So I would hope that in our relationships in life, we're able to make choice. We're able to say, yes, this works for me. No, this doesn't work for me. Yes, this is something I can accommodate and compromise within because the other person is as well. Yes, this is healthy. Yes, this is not healthy. But see, we can't even get there when we're still under the influence of it and when we're not even recognizing that we're continuing the toxic pattern up in our own head. So what do you guys have to say about any of this? Let's see. Assertiveness is hard to learn. Correct. We're taught to suppress our own needs. Yes, we are. We are. And we don't even know what our own needs are because sometimes we're so brought up with toxic patterning. We think white picket fence and fairy tale life is what we need. And how do we know that's even true if it was taught to us by toxic people, right? It's almost like we have to learn to question everything in not a cynical way, but an open way of what is actually possible for my life, what is actually possible for recovery. So when you are feeling like people have said, let me think of some of the recent ones. It was, life is always awful and it will always be hard for me. Okay. Now just think about that. How does that make you feel? I'm going to say it like I'm actually saying it to you. Life is always awful and it will always be hard for you. How did that just make you feel? All right. Now, if I said it even in a more cruel way, the way we actually talk to ourselves, life is always awful. It's always awful. And you will never get out of this trap. You know, and even that I'm kind of laughing because I'm staring at myself saying it. But really, how does that make you feel? Now, when we say this to ourselves over and over again, we're running in the same rut, right? And we are living in the rut that was put there by the toxic relationships we've had. You know, life isn't easy for most people, right? It isn't like you just, Disney, little squirrels bringing you things and flowers everywhere and whatever. All right. Life is what it is. It has ups and downs, the hills and valleys. It has struggles, and we have to learn to ride those struggles and move through them and let them flow the same way good things come and go, right? We have to recognize that the pattern of this will always be, this is always bad and it will always be horrible for me, is a self-perpetuating negativity that was planted there because you've had people planted there, okay? It was an influence to begin with. You weren't born. You didn't open your eyes for the first time, look around as a baby and think, this sucks. This is hard. It's always going to be hard for me because I'm just this baby and like, what am I going to do, right? No, you didn't. You were just like, wow, what's going on in this world, right? And if we can come back to our own thoughts, find our authenticity, find our own peace for ourselves, right? And learn to change that negative mindset. Sorry, a car is driving up. Okay. Learn to change that negative mindset into a more positive flow for yourself. The good and the bad both come and go, okay? Someone is about to walk up to my car. My friend is coming, so she may come on camera. And I may just let her. The good and the bad will happen. All right? And, oh, she went in. She didn't see me. Okay, I'm going to have to go in just a second and go meet my friend. Because I don't do that very often. Anyway, positive. It doesn't have to be positive per se. Stay in question. This is what I want to say. Okay, so when you're in that space where you're just like beating your life up and you are so negative, what do you do with it? It can be like completely confusing to know how to get out of it. And you can't even see a way out because you feel what you're saying. You're speaking from the emotions. But what you're doing is you're stuck in a dark, heavy emotion. I believe emotions are meant to flow, and you're meant to have many, many, many emotions kind of simultaneously throughout the day. We're not meant to stick in one emotion. We want to hold the happiness and hang on to it like close to us and never let it go. And then we wonder why when it goes away, it feels like the other shoe drops when nothing actually really bad happens. This is later on, not talking about being with a narcissist, right? That's totally different. But things come and go, right? The flow of life is very flowing. Emotions are not solid things. They're just states of being that you're in the moment. So if you can learn to question when they're not flowing the direction, or you're stuck in one, mostly when you're stuck in one, to question what else is possible here? What else could there be? What else is out there for me? Instead of life is always bad and it's going to be hard forever, then you are opening up your own awareness and your own energy toward things that are potentially better for you. Okay? Especially if when you say that, you say it with curiosity about adventuring into life and finding out what is out there for you instead of being stuck in the same patterns and ruts over and over again. I mean, you can sit there forever, but the problem is, and the point is, all of this, the healing that comes after toxic relationships in your life, it becomes your responsibility for yourself. It becomes yours to do. No, you didn't put yourself in this position. Yes, you were victimized by toxic people. And now you've got to live your life, and you've got to be the one to step out of it to make the choice to move forward. When people come for coaching and they really want change in their life, amazing things happen. Okay? It may be baby steps. It may be one big thing. It depends on the person. But things shift. When people come for coaching and they want me to fix it for them, not much happens. They get validated, okay, which is great, but not much happens because you know why? It's not anybody else's. We don't have the capacity. No one has the capacity to fix it for someone else. It has to come from within. And that's really hard because all of the toxic crap that's happened to you did not come from within. It came from without. And so we learn that other people fix for us, but really it's us that fixes. Anyway, I'm going to end this live stream because I have to go meet my friend and talk as kindly to yourself as you would talk to a complete stranger, right? And yeah, okay. And hello to everyone here. I'm not ignoring you on purpose. I am not great at doing this while on my phone and trying to scroll and figure it all out. So, okay, guys. I was really hoping she'd come over because you guys would have loved her squealy, happy, smiling hello. But she didn't. So, okay, I will see you guys next week. I will be back with videos this week. Take care. If you have any topics you would like covered, let me know. Hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe, and the best to you, okay? Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hi there. I mentioned your word, Tanya. Laden. I'm loving that word. All right. I mean, I'm not loving that word. It's a horrible state to be in, but there it is. Okay, you guys, take care. Bye-bye.